What we need is not more medications, but more education, because the best prescription is knowledge. This is Exposé coming to you live from Lagos, Nigeria, every Monday on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook simultaneously. I'm your regular host, Tony Akinyemi. Don't forget, what we need is not more medication, but more education, because the best prescription is knowledge. Hello and welcome to Exposé with Tony Akinyemi. This beautiful Monday evening again. We're coming to you all the way from Lagos, Nigeria, in West Africa. And this comes your way every Monday at 8 p.m. West African time. I'm your regular host. My name is still Tony Akinyemi. We've been dealing with the subject of your water and your health. And we've laid some basic background so far. And I promise I'll be bringing together a number of experts. I'll be bringing them one after the other and interviewing them so they can give us perspectives. They can give us some insights, on the solutions that they have when it comes to water. First and foremost, we know that all of us have to hydrate. All of us have to drink water because dehydration is one of the major causes of disease and dysfunction in the human body. We also know that the human body is composed of somewhere between 65 and 70% of water. It's the most abundant element in the human body. And we're also aware of the fact that the sources of our water must be such that it doesn't come into the body to cause disease. All right? So our water sources must be pure, must be unpolluted, must be uncontaminated. But then we all know that the water we find around us, whether it is well water or borehole water or from the river or the stream or even the Atlantic Ocean or any of the ocean bodies, even rainwater, not necessarily as pure as they should be for us to consume. When I say rainwater, I know what I'm talking about. I know that scientifically rainwater is supposed to be the purest form of water, but then because it percolates through a contaminated or polluted atmosphere, on its way down, it picks up, pollutants here and there. And then some people, the rainwater falls on the roof and washes all the dust and all the dirt on the roof down, and then they collect it in buckets, as we do in West Africa. So that means that we have to be sure that our sources of water are clean and they are something that will support our health and not bring waterborne diseases again into the body. And the things that accompany water into the human body, apart from the useful ones like minerals, are also those things that can cause disease. And those things that can cause disease are either in the form of living things or non-living things. The non-living things are pollutants, pesticides, herbicides, petrochemicals, and all kinds of, industrial wastes that can find their way into our water bodies. And the living things are microbes, disease-causing organisms, bacteria and what have you, that can cause dysentery, diarrhea, cholera, and other, waterborne diseases. Parasites can also be there. That's why the sources of our water must be good. And there have been many, many companies and NGOs all over the place that are doing their utmost. They are doing their best to ensure that water is available, clean water, purified water, the kind of water that can help us to mitigate some of the challenges that we face when it comes to access to clean water. Okay, so we have one of those companies. I have brought some of them before now, and now we have another one, and hopefully we will bring yet another one before we are finally done with our water series. So today we have in the house another expert who will be talking to us about their own brand of water solution. I'll give him the opportunity to be able to give us their perspective on the solutions that they bring to the table. So I have Mr. Olabode Odewole with me here today from Impact Water. I think Impact Water Nigeria.
Yes.
Impact Water
Nigeria.
Nigeria, that's right. So he will be introducing himself, and then he'll be telling us about the NGO that he represents and what solution they are bringing to the table and the solutions that people out there can access. One thing I have found out in interacting with him and his company is the fact that their solution appears to be very, very affordable, okay? And they also have this mass solution in view at the end of the day. He will tell us much better. Welcome to Exposé with Tony Akinyemi, Mr. Odewole.
Thank you very much, sir, for having me. My name is Olabode Odewole. I work for Impact Water Nigeria. And Impact Water Nigeria is a safe water solution company. And our goal is to increase access to safe drinking of water in school. That is our vision.
Thank you very much. Is your company, I know I've already alluded to that, but I want our viewers to know better because, I mean, I've interacted with your company before now. Is your company a for-profit, non-for-profit, and what is the vision of your company?
It is not for profit.
Right
now. It is not for profit.
And so your vision, what is the vision of Impact Water in Nigeria as a not-for-profit organization?
So our vision for Nigeria is to increase access to safe drinking water solution, which aligns with the Sustainable Development Goal number 6, which is to make sure that every human being have access to safe drinking of water.
Great. So when you say safe drinking water, what exactly do you mean by that?
Okay. So we believe that there are different sources of water, and then all schools have the different sources where they get water from. So we don't dig boreholes for schools because we know it is expensive, but we provide schools with the tools that is needed to treat the water in the school.
Okay.
By doing that, the school can have access
to water.
To water.
So which means the school must have a source of water.
Exactly.
By them. Then you just come in to ensure that this water you say you have, let's be sure that it's safe for drinking.
Exactly.
And it's not going to cause any problem.
That is correct.
Now, what kind of problems do you envisage that if people drink water that is considered unsafe, what kind of problems do you envisage that could come out of that?
Okay. According to WHO standard, any water that is not treated is considered unsafe.
Okay.
And when people are vulnerable to drinking unsafe water, then they are exposed to the waterborne diseases, which are the cholera, the diarrhea, and the dysentery. And we don't want that to happen. So our goal is to prevent it from happening. We don't want solution after there is an outbreak of diseases.
Okay.
We want a prevention is better than cure system.
Right. So you're trying to prevent cholera, diarrhea, dysentery.
That's correct.
These are part of waterborne diseases.
Yes.
Before there's an outbreak.
Exactly.
What can we do as an upfront intervention? You know, I call that upstream intervention.
That's correct.
Then there is the downstream intervention.
Yes.
After an outbreak, you now begin to run from pillar to post. How do we help these people to stem this?
Exactly.
All of that. So that's a good one. Yes. Prevention is always better than cure, and maybe also cheaper.
Yes.
Than cure. And then, of course, if there's an outbreak of these waterborne diseases, even by the time there is an intervention and the tide is stemmed, some lives may have been lost before it's brought under control.
Correct.
So what your organization is trying to do is to say, hey, let's do something so that this doesn't even break out at all.
Exactly.
And from what you said, your target is actually schools, primarily.
Yes, primary schools.
I mean,
primary and secondary schools.
Primary schools, secondary schools.
Yes.
Okay, why did you choose primary, secondary? Why not just for every Nigerian?
Yes, I would say that we can't solve all problems.
Okay.
But our goal is that the solution that we have, we are able to scale to millions of people. And we know that children are vulnerable to diseases. So we thought of a place or a location where we can meet with them at a goal. And the school is the institution we know we can find them. Between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. in the afternoon, the only place you can find children is the school.
Right.
So that is why we choose the school to meet with them and to provide our solutions to them.
You can meet thousands of them.
Exactly.
So far, since you started operation,
yes.
How far have you been able to go? What's your mileage?
So between 2017 and then 2023, we've covered 20,000 schools.
20,000 schools in Nigeria.
In Nigeria.
Primary school and
Exactly.
secondary schools.
Yes.
Are these public schools or private schools or both?
Both the public and the private schools.
Okay.
And these are over 8 million Nigerian students.
8 million students so far.
Exactly.
What are your projections?
The projection is that by the end of 2024, we want to cover another 20,000 schools.
This year, 2024.
Exactly.
So that will make it 40,000.
40,000.
That you are providing safe water solutions for.
That should be around 16 million Nigerian students.
That's a great one. That's a good one. You know, I was looking at 16 million that you mentioned, vis-a-vis 200 million population.
Okay. Yes.
Initially, I thought just 16 million out of 200 million. But then again, like you said, you can't solve all problems.
Of course.
If everyone will come and solve a part of the problem,
it,
at the end of the day, everything will add up.
That's correct.
So let me, on behalf of Nigerians, say thank you
yes, thank
to
you.
Impact Water.
Thank
but then, you are a not-for-profit organization. So what does it cost? Is there any cost at all to the schools for them to have access to your solutions?
I will say that it costs nothing, in the sense that some good people like you, sir, and myself, they contributed, the philanthropists contributed, and then we were funded for this,
Right.
to provide this solution to school free of charge.
Wow, free of charge.
Yes.
So any school out there can say, Impact Water, we're here. Please come and give us something.
Exactly.
How does a school access that free service?
All they need to do is to contact us. But for now, we are focusing on the public schools.
Not private schools.
Private schools can also contact us.
But what happens if a private school comes in and says you are focusing on public schools?
We have a different solution for private schools.
What's the difference?
Because we know that private schools are for profit,
Right.
and they can easily buy.
So they have to pay.
Yes,
That's
they
the
have
point
to.
you're making.
Exactly.
Okay, but public schools don't have to
They
pay.
don't have to, because we
Okay.
have a different product
All
for
right.
the public schools.
So private schools out there, primary schools, secondary schools, all over Nigeria,
Yes.
irrespective of the location,
Exactly.
if they need your solution,
Yes.
access to the kind of water that is safe to drink, they can just reach out to your company,
Yes,
and then the process can begin.
Exactly.
Anyway, before we finish, I'm going to ask him to give us the contact of the company so that primary schools, secondary schools, public primary schools,
Yes.
not private primary schools, they can get private schools and secondary schools can get their own for free. Because some good people from around the world,
Yes.
within and outside Nigeria, they are the donors. They have already donated funds to pay for it. Somebody has paid for it. It's just like our salvation.
Exactly.
Jesus has paid for it.
I will receive it freely.
All right, good. So, primary schools, secondary schools, public, government schools, reach out to Impact Water. They will be very happy and glad to provide you with free, safe water solution. Now, private schools can also access the solution, but the only difference is that you have to pay. But then, I know that what you have to pay is not cutthroat. It's not, you don't have to pay an arm and a leg. All right. Now, apart from schools, what other groups of people can access your solutions?
So yes, we have larger bodies like the churches, the mosque, and then hospitals, and
great.
then even the correction centers.
Wow. So all the correction centers, remand homes,
Yes.
we used to call them prisons,
Exactly.
and then hospitals,
Yes.
churches, mosques,
Exactly.
Anywhere,
Yes.
even companies.
Yes.
Can't companies, if they have like 100 staff, for example,
Yes, if they have it,
they can just
reach
install
out.
one,
Exactly.
so that everybody in that environment
Yes.
can access clean water.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, in our church, we were one of the first people to patronize your company.
Yeah.
We have one solution right in our premises in our church in Ikeja in Nigeria, and we make it even available for our neighbors who can come around and just collect safe drinking water from there. Thank you very much for this good work that you guys are doing.
Thank you.
So we are looking at different options, because some of the solutions we are bringing to the table, the experts have been interviewing. Some of them have products that are meant for families, maybe domestic use, a family of 5, a family of 10, like that, and different approaches, different methods of providing purified water, clean water Some of them also have some added values. Maybe they also mineralize, they also alkalize, they also do all kinds of different things. Different levels, but I have found out that not everybody can afford all the different solutions. But yours is coming as a kind of Father Christmas kind of. You know, the amazing thing is that water is so abundant on the planet, and yet access to safe drinking water is like a Herculean task.
Exactly.
At the end of the day. But we thank God for those who are rising up to the occasion to see how these problems can be handled and you know, confronted headlong. Okay, so we are going to be looking at a few other intricacies after now, but we're going to go on a short break. After that break, when we come back, I want you to go into the, you know, how your solution works, the solution you provide. How does it work? Is it a machine they have to buy? Is it a, I mean, you will explain the details, and then we will look at a few other angles to it when we come back from this particular short break. Don't go away. This is Exposé with Tony Akinyemi. Don't forget, what we need is not more medication, but more education. For the best prescription is knowledge. I'll be back very shortly. Welcome back. This is still Exposé with Tony Akinyemi, brought to you by TSF, the Shepherd's Flock International Church, and I'm your regular host. Tony Akinyemi is my name. We're dealing with your water and your health. And we have in the house today Mr. Olabode Odewole of Impact Water Nigeria. His organization, a non-governmental organization, a not-for-profit organization, has been discussing with us and answering our questions relating to the water solutions that they have, particularly for the general public. Their focus has been on schools, primary schools and secondary schools, particularly public schools. Of course, their services, they say, are also available to private schools, to churches, to mosques, to, you know, anywhere you have a large group of people, because their goal is to be able to reach a wide group of people with affordable and accessible, safe drinking water. All right. Thank you very much for all the answers that you've given us so far.
Thank you so much.
Now, I want to go a little bit technical right now.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you, at Impact Water, what is your solution like? Because other people have machines that people have to buy and install at home to provide the safe drinking water for their families. You are saying you are providing safe drinking water for schools with 500 students, 800 students, 1,000 students. What kind of equipment do you use to make this available? How do you purify your water for these people to drink?
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Right.
We have 3 different kind of products.
Right.
And I will divide these 3 products into 2.
Okay.
The first one is the non-chemical based.
Okay, non-chemical based solution.
And the other one is the chemical based.
All right.
So the non-chemical based is the one that has to do with the UV system, ultraviolet.
All right.
So we connect this to the school's borehole or the institution borehole, and when the water is passing through this ultraviolet, it disinfects the water causing organism, and as a result of that, once it kills or disinfects these organisms, the water becomes pure, and then the schools can access safe drinking of water.
Wow.
Very simple and straightforward.
That's the type that we have in our church, really.
Exactly,
It uses ultraviolet
Yes.
light to kind of disinfect the water.
Yes.
So effectively, essentially it kills
Yes.
all the germs, in the water. So the germs that cause cholera, that cause dysentery, diarrhea, and what have you, destroys them. Parasites, everything is gone.
Exactly.
So the water can safely be taken and no problem. That's the non-chemical solution.
Exactly.
Good. The other one, what is it?
Okay, so before I go to the second one, this first one, UV, before you can use it, that means you must have access to 24/7 electricity.
Okay.
And we know
24/7 in Nigeria? Where are you going to get that from?
Exactly.
Anyway, we will get there by the grace of God. But for now, we are still on the journey.
Yes. So this brings us to the second
that
one.
means only those who are on band A.
Yes. The band A electricity. Exactly.
You know, when this band A, band B, band C thing came, I said, no. This segregation should not happen.
Exactly.
All Nigerians should have 24/7 electricity. That is what we want. 24/7 electricity. All this band A, band B, band C is unacceptable as far as I'm concerned. That's my mind.
Yes.
All right, let's go on.
So we go to the second product. It is called the Ultra Flow. And this is for school that has a borehole, a pumping machine, and an overhead tank.
Okay.
So this solution is chemical-based,
right,
and which is the chlorine system.
Okay.
But it works automatically, and the school do not have to depend on 24/7 electricity.
Okay.
So we install it on top of the tank, and then when the water is being pumped, a little fraction of the water mixes, a little water mixes with the chlorine, and then a fraction of this chlorinated water mixes with the larger portion of the water in the tank. And then after 30 minutes, it disinfects all the germs in the water, and then both the student and the staff can access this safe drinking water solution coming from the tap of the tank. So they don't have to do anything. They just have to do the normal pumping of the water. When the water is full, when the tank is full, they shut it, and then they go straight to drink safe water.
That's the second one.
That's the second one.
Right.
And then, so like I said, the advantage it has over the UV is that they do not have to depend on 24/7 electricity.
Okay.
So it makes it easier for school to access.
Right. So schools in villages where there's no electricity at all, can they use that?
Once they have the normal generator and they can just pump.
Okay, so it still requires some form of electricity.
Exactly. It requires some form of electricity because they have to pump water into the tank.
Okay, before that can work.
Yes.
All right. Now, in our previous episodes, we've talked about chlorine, and it's been, like I said, it's a very controversial subject. So the non-chemical based solution you mentioned, that's settled.
Yes.
Yeah, the chemical based solution is the one where there's some controversy around.
Okay.
Now you are on my platform, and I want to give you the opportunity, to speak to the why is it that you, apart from the fact that you have said that because it doesn't require 24/7 electricity,
Yes.
what do you say to the concerns that people have, including myself, regarding chlorine?
Okay.
Right.
Thank you very much, sir. The non-chemical based treatment system of water, I can say is better though, but it doesn't address the issue of recontamination.
Okay.
For example, the UV you have in your church.
All right.
The water coming from the tap is clean, it's safe.
Right.
But what if I'm going with a contaminated cup?
Okay.
When I get there, I take it, the water becomes contaminated.
Recontaminated.
Because
Right.
I'm going with a dirty cup.
Okay, so you are thinking in terms of primary school pupils
Yes.
who are very carefree.
Exactly.
I don't want to say careless because they are children. Anyway,
Yes,
children,
exactly.
that's how children behave. They can be very carefree.
Of course.
The mother could have given them very
Good,
clean
cups.
bottle before they left
Yes.
home, but
And then when
all
you get
kinds
to
of
the
things. Okay, so one of the reasons is that you think if people come with contaminated vessels to collect that purified water,
Yes.
it gets recontaminated.
Exactly.
So how does your solution then solve that?
Exactly. So with this chlorine-based system, what it does is that after treating the water, that is dealing with the waterborne diseases in the water, there's what is called a residual chlorine. That
Right.
is, there's a particle of chlorine that still remains in the
water.
water. So should in case there's an occurrence of recontamination, the residual chlorine deals with it.
Okay.
Meaning that if a child is coming with a contaminated cup or even the hand, as they come in contact with this treated water, it treats the germs immediately.
Okay.
So there would not be need for any recontamination.
In the cup or
both
in the bottle?
In the cup and the bottle and on the hand as well.
Okay. Okay. So that's one reason that you feel that water chlorination
exactly.
Solves a problem that
yes.
others, that's the issue of recontamination. Okay. Are there other justifications apart
yes.
from that one?
The other
because
one.
What if we say, well, in my own house, at least I'm sure that the vessels we are going to use to collect the water will be clean. So I don't need, okay. So what other justification do you have?
The other justification is it is very affordable. And then the schools in Nigeria don't have the facilities to treat, or the facility that can be put in place for the non-chemical based system. For example, even if we want to install a UV in school, they don't have electricity.
Okay.
Yes, they don't have the overhead tank, so it won't work in those kind of school. And then the third one is that all over the world, chlorine is the accepted chemical that is being used
by the
WHO
official authority
yes.
in place. Even though sometimes I always, occasionally, not always, I occasionally disagree with official positions.
Exactly.
Because I believe that the standard that are set sometimes are lower than what it should be, in my personal view. But fine, the WHO is still the body recognized to regulate and to govern when it comes to this area. Now, so what are you saying about the WHO standard?
So according to WHO standard, chlorine is the accepted chemical to treat water because it is accessible and it doesn't have a side effect.
Did you say it doesn't have a side effect? Anyway, let's leave that alone. Go ahead.
Okay.
In certain concentrations, you should say.
Exactly.
Okay.
So by what IPA water does, we have done the concentration in such a way that after it treats the water, the residual chlorine does not go beyond a certain range, which is 0.2 to 0.5 ppm. ppm is called parts per million, and that is the standard of the WHO.
Yeah.
Yes. So that was why I said it doesn't have, according to the standard.
Yeah, by the WHO standard, WHO says that if the amount of chlorine in water is below this level, it is safe for drinking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even though some of us say there is no safe amount of chlorine, but WHO have set the standard, and your solution complies with the WHO standard. Right. Now, somebody gave me an analogy the other day, and it set me thinking. The person was into prostitution. And so somebody went to her and said, look, madam, I mean, she's a widow. I think she has 2 or 3 children to cater for. Her husband was dead. Nobody was coming to her aid. And they were starving. She needed to raise these children, send them to school. So she didn't think of what else she could do. I mean, at her level, she felt, what else can I do to make sure these children live? Then she took to prostitution to make money, to feed herself and her children, train them, send them to school. So someone said, look, madam, you are risking your life. What if you contact HIV/AIDS and you die? Your husband is dead. If you two die now, what will happen to these children? You know the answer she gave? That answer was what set me thinking. She said, if I don't do this to make money, to feed my children, they will starve to death in less than a month. If I do this to make money, even if I contact HIV, I won't die immediately. It might take 10 to 20 years before the HIV will grow into full blast, AIDS. And she will die from it. So before then, I will have finished training them. They will be able to stand on their own. That was her argument. And I said, wait a minute. So she knows that what she's doing could kill her. But then she has looked at it. What if I don't do it, I'll die now. If I do it, I'll die later.
She weighed the risk.
So she weighed the risk and the benefits. Even though that's not justification, any justification for prostitution, in my personal opinion. But I think she was trying to raise a point that we should all process. Medications, for example. There's almost no medication that doesn't have a side effect.
That's correct.
But people weigh the risk, they weigh the benefits, and then the one that is bigger.
Yes.
So that looks like what you're talking about in this situation. So I want you to be very convincing to us that the risk benefit analysis,
Yes.
weighs in favor of.
Exactly.
All right. So that's why
Rather than
that second option. So
Yeah.
for those who cannot afford the expensive
Yes.
water treatment options,
Exactly.
those who don't have access to continuous flow of electricity
Yes.
to be able to, so at least instead of nothing,
Yes. We give
there is
them-
something available. So
Exactly.
that makes it that everybody has an option.
Yes.
You can
have your
choose
option. Yes.
the one that suits your condition, suits your situation. And in this case, it's not prostitution.
No. It's not.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So it makes it that nobody is left out.
all.
Now, I have spoken to some other folks about, solutions for water purification, and they run into millions of naira. Does your own run into millions of naira as well?
Oh, not at all. The non-chemical water treatment system is just like 500,000 for schools.
500,000 for, wow, just 500,000.
Yes.
Naira.
Naira,
Not dollars.
Not dollars.
So with 500,000 naira,
Yes.
a company can install the UV,
UV
system in their
Yes,
company as
exactly.
long as they have electricity,
Electricity.
and it be purifying their water. A church can have it, a mosque can have it,
Correction
private
centers
schools can have it,
private
correction
schools.
centers can have it,
Yes.
and that will provide water for everybody. They can even dispense and take
Yes,
home.
Take home.
Great.
Yeah.
My 2 thumbs are up for you.
Thank you very
on
much,
that.
sir.
And now, so when all is said and done, all the chips are down, because you see, I grew up as a village boy. One of the villages where I went to school, of course, no government amenity, no school, in that village, no school, no hospital, no police station. Name anything. The only thing that existed in that village were the little mud houses. Every house was a mud house where we lived. Some of them with thatched roofs, some of them with corrugated iron sheets. Right. And we drank water from streams. Sometimes we go to fetch water from those streams, and you can even see the larvae of mosquitoes. In fact, one of the schools I attended, there was a pond in that school, and they fetched water from that pond to cook for the students. And the water will be green in color. Of course, I'm talking about over 40 years ago, not today. Over 40 years ago. 40, 50 years.
Wow.
That already tells you, you can begin to guess my age. Right, so now, in those days, if this kind of a thing were available, at least, even if we can't buy Kangen machine, we cannot buy hydromin, we cannot buy this and buy that. This one, for the entire village. If a local government can just install that for the village, it will address, so everybody has access. Half a loaf, they say, better than none. Thank you once again. So 500,000 naira, with 500,000 naira, any school, any religious center, correctional center can have one. And for me, I still think that when I say things like this, people feel this man has come again. But I think we need to call out our leaders from time to time. Why is it that there will be a school in a country as blessed as Nigeria, no matter the location, no matter how remote the village, that they will not have access to electricity to use to purify their water? Even if it's solar, even if it is wind. These things can be modular, solutions, electricity solutions here and there, and people can have access to it. It's one of the basic things, like you mentioned, development goals that have been set, and they are doable. They are, and they don't cost an arm and a leg. So we want to appeal to our governments at various levels: federal government, state government, local governments, city councils, wherever you are, our councillors in the various councils. Please deal with this development goal number 6, and let safe drinking water be available to 200 million Nigerians. Impact Water is sorting out about 18 million, 20 million, 16 to 20 million people.
Yes.
And they want to scale up and double that before the end of 2024. Now, what are we doing at the local government levels, at the state levels, and all other places? Of course, we know you are doing something. We are not saying you are not doing anything. But we're saying these are critical areas that we all need to look at. Anything that has to do with the health and the wellness of the people is my own primary concern. My own primary concern. You are doing well in many other things. Please help us direct your energy and resources also to these areas. And let's collaborate, let's work together, let everybody have access to safe drinking water. Good. Now we know that these solutions are available, chemical-based, non-chemical-based. Yeah. We also know that with just ₦500,000, you can get it if you're a private school or a private organization or whatever. Yeah. And with ₦0, you can get it if you are a public school, primary or secondary. And that's good enough. There's no reason anybody shouldn't have access to clean, safe drinking water. Now, would you like to give us your contact information in case any school wants to contact you or any religious organization or any company wants to contact you?
Okay, thank you so much. To reach me, you can reach me on my phone number 0810-2677-943. And my email address is oodewole@impactwater.co.
Does the O have a dot or just Odewole at impactwater.co, not .com?
No, not .com.
Of course, they will be displayed on the screen so that people can see. So you can reach out to Mr. Odewole and you can take it off from there. And I encourage everybody, if you can't afford the one that costs millions of naira, you can afford the one that costs less than ₦500,000 or thereabouts. And that will cover quite a number of people. And you can choose from the options that are available depending on your peculiar situation. So everybody is served. Nobody is left out at the end of the day when it comes to safe drinking water, to offer what we call an upstream intervention, a kind of preventive measure, so that people don't drink the kind of things that will make them to have all kinds of health challenges and even claim the lives of future doctors, future lawyers, future governors, future engineers, future pastors.
Exactly.
So we don't claim their lives. We can give them an opportunity to live. And when they live, their potentials can be developed. They can contribute to nation building. Once again, we want to say a big thank you. Now, but before I let you go, I don't know if you have a parting statement, a parting word, pieces of advice that you want to offer to our viewers before we sign off today.
Okay, thank you very much. As you were rightly told, that you don't need more medication, but what you need is education. Keep to the things that educate your soul, and then your life will become better by the day. Never miss this show and this program, because it offers you the necessary information that will keep your life on the go. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you once again on behalf of everybody.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank
we appreciate your time with us.
Thank you, sir.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we draw the curtain today on Exposé with Tony Akinyemi, brought to you by TSF. And we will meet again on the same platform, 8 p.m. West African time, on YouTube and Facebook simultaneously. Do have a very beautiful, fruitful, testimony-filled week. Until we meet again next week, God willing, by the special grace of God. You are blessed. We love you. Bye.
Bye.